And
Mirror. Man,
here we go again.
you know how it is, man.
Oh yeah. I say we don't keep them waiting any longer.
Nah, let's go ahead. Start the show.
Yeah, man. What it
Hey.
do, Nerd Vengers? How goes it? Good, homie.
Hopefully it goes
What's good, man?
Yeah, man. What's good? You good?
I'm good, man. Of course I'm good. Why wouldn't I be good?
I don't know.
How about these peoples? How are y'all? How do we
Right.
sound? Can we just check some levels real quick and make sure you can
Yes.
hear us?
So you can hear us, me, the purple room.
Yeah. Before we tell them that we have arrived.
Yes. Before we tell them, let's get it popping.
Yeah. Let's find out.
Let's see.
Working on some changes. So we just want to make sure everybody can hear us, how my mic sound.
Yes. Yes. How do we sound? We need to go up, down.
Left, right, A, B, A, B, A, B, B. Select start.
Yes. I always go straight to start. See, that's probably why the code never worked for me.
Yeah, see, I was always thinking about two players. That's why I always hit the select start. But
Yeah. See.
we have arrived.
Ooh, so we're gonna get it popping. Apparently, we are in members only.
Oh,
Now, the members
well,
only tonight. At least
you
for
know,
the chat.
we can do a little VIP, I suppose. I mean, it ain't like we got control over it, right?
Yeah, you know
You know
how that go.
Yeah, we sure do know how that go. But yes, it is another week.
Yes.
It is after dark. It is the Den of Nerds Live. It's your boy Al. It is your homie Lavis. What it do, neighborhood? We
What
in
it
this
do?
thing, man. We in this thing. And right off top, I ain't even gonna waste no time. I need to know right now, chat. I need you to let me know. Give me them purple main emojis. Give me 0 if you, matter of fact, let me change that. Give me 1 purple main emoji if you felt like Loki episode 1 was low-key whack. But if you got 5 on it, let me see your 5 on it. Or if you're somewhere in between, let us know. Basically what we saying is tell us how you felt about that first episode, man. What was it like for you? What was it like for you, my guy?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Like I came in 0 expectation, 0 emotion, and by the end of it, the most disappointing thing out of the episode was the fact that it was over.
Factual.
That's how I ended that for me.
That is
So,
straight
yes.
factual.
I was feeling it, man. Totally feeling it. And excited to talk about it tonight.
Yes, we are definitely getting into it. Matter of fact, before we go any further, let me go ahead and hit them.
Hit him. Hit him.
Hit them with that
Hit 'em up.
spoiler alert.
Yes.
Because we
Mains and mains.
gonna get all into it tonight. We are
Tonight.
definitely gonna get into that Loki. Yes. But first, you know we have to kick it off with a little bit, just a tiny bit, quick little tidbit of Star Wars news, because it would appear that one Ben Mendelsohn will be returning as Orson Krennic to the Cassian Andor series. That's right. Ben Mendelsohn will be back. Now, I have to ask you first, my guy, as the resident Star Wars swarmy, you know, Orson Krennic was the old cat in Rogue One. You know, we kind of saw what happened to him by the end of that movie. But we know the Cassian Andor series is coming out, and that's going to kind of touch on some of the stuff that happened prior to. So how does that make you feel, man? Like, are you hyped about that? Is it kind of like a we'll see what it is kind of thing, or where you at with that?
Yeah, it's more of a we'll see how it is. Cause like to be honest, like even Rogue One, it took me a little bit to actually understand what the placing was on that before I could actually really get into it. So this sounds like another like prequel to a prequel type deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless there's actually some information in it that'll emboss my swarminess and make me more sweaty, I'm not really into it too much just yet.
Gotcha.
I'm still waiting for some more details. See how
That's
that
what's up.
goes.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a mixed emotions type situation with it myself, simply because I just want to know how much of this Cassian Andor show is going to be really something that's worth watching from a, overall story standpoint. Like for me, I feel like, with the Star Wars stuff, I'm all about the connectivity. I'm all about it kind of fleshing out the stuff that we already know. So if it's going to give us a little more context and be dope, then cool. If not, I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but it's nothing about that really moves me in a big way. The bigger question I have, and this is something that we have talked about quite a bit, is we also know that Ben Mendelsohn is Talos. And so that means as a Skrull, the homie's going to be in the Secret Invasion show also. So knowing that we've got Ben Mendelsohn now in the Skrull show, Secret Invasion, and he's going to be in this Cassian Andor show, do we feel like we will start to get a little bit of fatigue from these actresses and actors that are on both sides, kind of doing roles in multiple projects? Is that a thing, or are we still like, nah, we ain't got there yet?
For me, I think it would be a thing if like we always saw their faces plastered over. So like example, if we got Oscar Isaac returning again, and then he's going to be in Moon Knight, and then let's say he gets another movie that's going to be popping off. Okay. Then yeah, we might get a little influx of some kind of fatigue when it comes to the actor. But Ben Mendelsohn, like, he gets to actually show his face in Star Wars, but he's Talos on Marvel. And to be completely honest, unless you actually caught Captain Marvel, you wouldn't really kind of put the correlation together. And a lot of people really didn't care too much about Captain Marvel. So when you think of Talos, you just think of the Skrull. You don't really think of Ben Mendelsohn, seeing him in the flesh, Right. So I think if they're smart enough to kind of do it like that, to maybe where if he's smart enough when it comes to the agency, maybe you get like a voice acting job, then you get the Star Wars thing, and then you're Talos when you're in makeup. Yeah, I can deal with something like that. But just, seeing you everywhere. That's almost like back in the 90s when you saw Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was in everything. He was a cop. He was a blood sport. Like, he was doing everything. It's like, okay, can we get somebody else? And then we got Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? It was in everything. And every 6 months there was a movie. So yeah, there was a fatigue then. But now I think they're being a little smarter about it. So no, I wouldn't say it's a thing.
That's what's up. I tend to agree with you. I still don't think it's a big deal yet. It's definitely something though that I'm keeping my eye on, just from the respect that I don't want it to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hypersensitive to that, because for me personally, while I don't think it's a problem now, I could see a situation where it might be a little bit of a detractor for me in the future, because if it becomes a situation where Marvel and Disney are just kind of like swapping out actors and actresses as they so choose for budget reasons, because it's and convenience, that might start to make some of the content a little bit stale for me. But again, as long as there's, it's all really going to come down to this: how does the actor or the actress nail the performance? Like, if they take me out of it to where I'm not thinking of it as, oh snap, that's so and so, then I'm cool with that 1000%. You know what I'm saying? But if it doesn't, then it's going to be like one of those things where it's like every time I turn around, I'm seeing Ben Mendelsohn. I don't like that. Like, it's going to get stale. But I don't think we're there yet. I think we still got a little bit of time. But I thought it was interesting that they brought that up, and they have that he's coming back, because although it makes sense to me, it's like, again, with Cassian Andor and Rogue One, we kind of know what happened with them. So, what else is there what happened to you, my guy?
I don't know.
We got to fix that. See, look, Chet playing games. I don't appreciate that, Chet. Not one bit. Let's make that work. Hold on. Let's see if we can't fix you.
There we go.
All right, then. See, look. Playing games, man. Get it together, Chet. Tired of this mother. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. I'm sorry. Chet, them Chetnicals, man. Chetnicals. But anyway. Man. Anyway, yeah, I think it's cool. It'll be cool to see him, but I'm just kind of wondering why, like, what is the connect? We know what happened to these cats. They're not going to make it. And this ain't like the Anakin situation where you kind of knew It's like Rogue One and Cassian Andor. Like, what kind of revelations are we really gonna get from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just makes me kind of wonder where we're going with that. But outside of that, I still think I'm gonna be pretty hyped to see that show. It's Star Wars. Let's not kid ourselves here. We know what this is.
I'd be pretty hyped to see any kind of Star Wars show now. It's like we was expecting a couple, then they canceled a couple, and then like the only thing so far, luckily, we're able to look forward to is the Book of Boba.
Yeah, exactly. Because apparently, like we talked about yesterday on the nightly news, ain't gonna be no season 3 of Mando anytime soon. Because don't look like they've even started shooting that. And don't look like they're in much of a rush because Pedro is busy doing his Last of Us thing. So, that being the case, Boba is kind of the next thing that we got lined up. However, I think that we're in a good spot still with Star Wars because right now is Marvel's time. You know what I'm saying? Right now is Marvel's time.
This is facts.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Marvel is doing it up. They are totally doing it up. They even got the TVA after me. The chat's starting to catch on.
See, look, that's what it is, man. Y'all too
These
smart.
TVA scrambling headphones.
I'm trying to tell you, man. We can't let them know what we doing out here playing games with the timeline.
Right, the timeline. We ain't the Avengers. Apparently, the Avengers are the only ones that's supposed to.
They're the only ones that can mess with the timeline, right? But let's do it, man. Look. We've waited long enough. Tell me, how did you feel about that first episode, man? How did it hit you?
The first episode, it did a lot. It made me laugh. It tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. It made me glad to see certain turns of events come for Loki. I love how they actually caught him up and didn't like give us. It's like what they managed to do was give us that same version of Loki in like 5 seconds, as opposed to where I thought what they were going to do was give us a brand new, fresh version of Loki completely, who didn't know nothing about nothing that happened to him after that fact. It was just going to be him possibly popping around and messing stuff up. But no, they caught my man's up all the way to our present timeline, even gave him the whole realization point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even him seeing how he went out and how he died. I feel like even seeing that, he still was able to get all of the realization that he got as that other Loki. And I feel like that was very important, especially for what they were trying to do with him going forward. We needed him to be able to know his prior life in order to be effective for what Morbius was trying to get him to do. So I like how they was able to do that. I definitely like the effects. My man got smacked in the face with one of the maces.
Oh, bruh. I was like, man, that was fire. That was straight fire. The way that my man was like, just lip quivering, boy. He was in that slow motion for real. Looked like something out the Matrix. I was like, oh man, it's crazy to me because, like, to your point, that show basically caught not just Loki, but the whole damn audience up. Like within the first half of that show, you already had all the information you needed in terms of what's going on, why it's important, what the rules, kind of like the guiding rules going forward are going to be, and just how epic of a next phase this is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got all of that. Take notes, yes. Marvel, when you look at the response. Pay attention very closely. I know you are, White Suge. I know you be on it. We should have believed you in the first place, man. Should have believed you in the first place. But that is how you launch a show.
Yeah, it is. But I say because he's co-signed on a couple other shows already, and we was like, yeah, Feige, that's not it.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like we should have trusted that Feige had us. That he had a plan. He had a plan. Yes. Now look, we already know that WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a mixed were mixed. Reviews were mixed. Some people were down on it. Some people were really up on it. Some people were kind of in the middle. I think with this Loki show, just this first episode, kind of just the way it's been perpetrated out here in these streets, Loki might be already better than WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Straight up. Put together. And it was like you said, man, like they gave you everything you needed right off the top. You know, I thought it was hilarious. My man landed in the desert and he immediately is like, let me go find me some subjects to subjugate. Like, let me go ahead and already exert my dominance. And then he look over and see the TVA and he like, oh, wait a minute, what? Hold that thought. Let me go handle that. Right. And it's just like that again lets you know right off the bat. It's like Loki ain't in the same situation. He doesn't have.
He ain't in Kansas no more.
He ain't in Kansas no more at all. At all. So yeah, man. And then they take him to the TVA, man, and we get the little cartoon that kind of catches us up. Now, I want to get into this a little bit because I need somebody with a little bit more comic expertise to break this down for me, because the way they explain this. Now, I'm familiar with Secret Wars in the time in the comics. I know that there were, you know, multiple. I think at least 2 different versions of Secret Wars that went down. You had the 2015, and then there was one prior to that, I believe. But in this show, the way that they explain this whole timeline situation seems to me like there's already been a Secret War. That we may have already had one of sorts that we just have not known anything about. And what was interesting to me was that the way that they explained it was that for the sake of keeping the universe going, all of those different multiverses that were battling basically had to come in and form one sacred timeline. Mm-hmm. So when I break that down, when I'm sitting there thinking about that, I bust that down to basically what they're saying is we had to take whatever characters or whatever people were left from these universes, these multiverses, and kind of just put that all together into one, because it wasn't enough. You know, there weren't enough survivors in one single universe or multiverse in order for them to continue that timeline going. So they had to basically like bring all of it together. And it's one of the way. And okay, so I think what I'm getting at with that is that leads me to believe that, again, this might be one of those situations where it's like history is always told by the winner. And so if that's the case, then do we really believe that explanation to be 100% how things went down?
Right.
In that previous iteration? Yeah. Because I felt like that was one of them. I feel like that's something that might come back later on and we realize, it didn't actually go down exactly like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it totally could.
Cool.
But I don't know, like, so with the explainer that they give with the whole previous war, the 3 lizards coming together and pretty much making a timeline. Mm-hmm. It sounds like more of an MCU explainer, with them acknowledging the fact that Secret Wars has been done, or at least that kind of war has been done in comics. And what I got out of that is like in the future for the MCU and how they may do it is like they made it all in one timeline, mm-hmm. which you could say is like all the characters that would have existed in that storyline for the Secret Wars comics wise is a potential to see those in the future for the next one. So the fact that they did that, they made one timeline that's dictated by the TVA. For this timeline, everything it happens according to what they say they want to happen. So Thanos come in, destroying everything, snapping half the planet, them having to go back in time, getting all the Infinity Stones, blah, 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 was supposed to happen. And TVA orchestrated for that to happen in order for the timeline to continue. And them being in league with, okay, they're going to go back in time to fix this. So we got to make sure that things happen the way they're supposed to happen. Out of that, it sounds like the only thing that wasn't supposed to happen was Loki realizing that the Tesseract was loose, picking it up, and then stepping out of his place. Obviously, That wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to go. We had a timeline for that. You know what I'm saying? So mm-hmm. them going back and messing that up kind of made a new branch of sorts for the MCU. So what I think is really going to happen is the fact that they mentioned that there was a war before. The only thing that we can say is about history for sure is it repeats itself.
Right.
So there's going to be something, or at least the person that they're chasing in this series could be an orchestrator that is trying to weaken the TVA in order to have the timeline mess up, in order to have that war all over again, because they want to do something and cause chaos and mischief, perhaps, in order for, to make that happen. Their purpose, that's their purpose, their new purpose in order to do that. So whoever this hooded figure is, I feel he's trying to disrupt the timeline, which will again create another battle for supremacy. So what happened was there were so many different timelines that one of them wanted to be the medium, to be the timeline that was the main one to go forward. Like you said, the victor would be the winner.
Right.
And in this case, the TVA was the victor, but they had the power to take all those warring timelines and stretch it into one and make it work in harmony by their basic. So that's the explainer that I got out of what they were talking about on the TV. When it comes all together, as far as like knowing that Marvel does pull from the comics, knowing that yes, Secret Wars has pretty much been done at least twice down to Battle World. Battle World is kind of like the end game from Secret Wars. It's like you get Secret Wars, and then all of that still kind of messes up the entire timeline to where it's about to destroy everything. That's what she said. Like pretty much the battling would have destroyed everything. There wouldn't have been nothing, no time, nobody doing anything.
Right.
So essentially, Secret Wars is that battle that we'll see in the future, and then they'll have to go to Battle World, which again is like one timeline all over again. But that timeline is supposed to be ruled by Doctor Doom and have a whole league of everybody stretched together. So once we get Doom, it will get a lot more context on what's going on with that, because they said that Loki sets all of that up. So we probably won't get too much of an idea until we at least get toward episode 6.
Got you. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to me, man. And it's like my mind was just rolling the whole time I was watching this show, because there's so much juice, in so many different areas in this show, man. So we see Loki. Loki's in the TVA. He's trying to get adjusted. I thought the little, just like we talked about right now, I thought the little cartoon synopsis to kind of catch everybody up was dope. One of the other things that I thought was hilarious was just the way that they immediately kind of established that the TVA is on a whole nother level. Because we saw the other prisoner, I can't think of who it was, but that was down there, and dude didn't have his ticket. And it was
the random.
Yeah, it was like, too bad, so sad. You out of there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just like, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it said that like literally wiped him from existence. So
they call it resetting, but basically, they kill you.
Yeah, and so my thing is like, well, damn, it's like that. Like this where we at. So it's like letting you know again, like we done turned up. Like the MCU is all on another level. But here's the thing, and I wanted to kind of spend some time on this because this was kind of one of my favorite moments in the show. The whole time we see Loki with the Tesseract. That's how he was able to get away. And, they take it away from him. He goes through booking and all of that good stuff. And my man is basically trying to get the Tesseract back because he wants to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? He talked to the judge and whatnot, tried to flex, blew the knives out, and it was like, nah, it ain't going down, Chief. Like, you ain't in Kansas no more. We not doing that. We don't do that here. No. And it was like, so then my man starts getting ready to trying to get up out of there. And he goes and tracks old dude down, and he's like, let me get that Tesseract back up off you, player.
Right.
And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I got a drawer full of this right here.
Right. It's a paperweight.
Right. And so you open the drawer, and like, if you want to, here is what we were missing from WandaVision and, in my opinion, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Regardless of how you like those shows or how you didn't like those shows, the thing that was so crazy about Loki is that Loki gave you information in the most passive way possible, but it was so impactful to the story. Like, we just watched 22 films of a saga that was based around those damn stones. Those stones were everything. You get to Infinity War and you got like Thanos on his quest going and getting these stones. You see the importance of it. You see what each stone kind of means. the power that it possesses, and then what a person is able to do if they're actually able to wield the power of all 6 of those stones. And then we turn around and we see they have to basically create a time travel mechanism so that they can go back and recollect these stones to kind of reverse the effects of said stones. So again, the whole Infinity Saga was surrounded, or was basically built around the idea of these stones being the end all be all. And then you pull up and they got them in a, like, just all over the place in the TVA.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like paper clips or something. My man called them paperweights in the show. It's crazy. And it was just like, that right there lets you know this is on some whole different ish. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want to see, or that's what I was expecting to see when we start talking about phase 4 in these shows. It's like, okay, Marvel, show me then what we going next. Show me how you gonna turn up and make movies that are going to make the Infinity Saga seem like it was child's play. And in one scene, they give you that.
Yep.
Right off the bat. Yeah. I think I saw somebody in the chat say it right now. They said, this feels like the actual start of phase 4. 100. Because now you see the implications of what's going on and the potential for there to be a whole lot of foolishness because of what's happening with this timeline and what's happening with Loki and what those implications could be. It's crazy. And I don't think, I saw some people talking. I want to ask you this question. I saw some people talking about this online, saying that it kind of sells the Infinity Saga short by depowering the stones to that level. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like them showing that the stones aren't that powerful wherever in the TVA or wherever the TVA lies in the universe or outside of the universe, however you want to look at it, does that cheapen it for you at all?
Okay, well, for me, the first thing that comes to mind, real world, like, me, like I always do. Disney, Marvel, they made their money out of that. They already sold the Infinity Saga. They sold a finite amount at that. Mm-hmm. They're not going back and reselling. And if they did, especially after they finish doing this phase, I'm pretty sure they probably get even more money out of it. So honestly, no. I don't feel like them saying that the Infinity Stones now it cheapens Endgame. No, if anything, to me, what I got out of seeing the Infinity Stones are nothing but paperweights where he is that at any given time, these Infinity Stones are placed into the universe because they want to have a certain level of control. They want to do the okie doke on everybody who's in that universe. You want to get the stones. You want to be more powerful. You want to take your mind off that the Time Lords are the ones who rule everything. You don't even want to think about the Time Lords. Right. You want to worry about these Infinity Stones. Now that they're destroyed, you want to get the Infinity Stones back. You don't want to travel out here and wherever the hell we are and worry about what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And then, the moment you do, we're just going to vaporize you and make it seem like you didn't have a place in the universe in the first place. So I think the introduction of showing that the Infinity Stones is not the highest power only shows that they're about to turn up to levels that we don't even know about, because the Infinity Stones, like you said, are always been the end all.
Right.
Even in the comics, you know what I'm saying? If you got an Infinity Stone, use a bad mother, shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now they're like, well, shoot, you can have all the Infinity Stones you want. You can make a necklace out of it. You want to put it on some rings, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Thanos made a gauntlet. Awesome. But we got a higher power over here. We're about to show you what that's like. So I'm wanting, to me, honestly, the Infinity Stones is a thing of the past. They did it already.
Okay. Yep.
I want to know what's next.
Yeah,
and like you said, they did that in one little scene showing us that the Infinity Stones, as much as we built that up for the fans, we got a ton of better stuff that we're going to give you. And I want to know what that is. So,
right.
Making the Infinity Stones cheaper, go ahead and cheapen them. I'm not worried about Infinity Stones anymore. They're destroyed.
Yeah, and
so they don't mean anything.
And that's the thing, right? And there is precedent in the comics. Like, it was the comics, from what I know, the stones were always only powerful in the universe that they originated from. You couldn't take Infinity Stones from a different multiverse and think you could take that gauntlet over and have power in a whole different universe with those particular stones. I thought they were always kind of relegated to that specific universe. But I think even beyond that, what it really explained to me, or what it like as being the swarmy that I am, is it was a very simple way to help people come to grips with the idea that the TVA is a whole nother level of like like cosmic situation. Like this is beyond, you got sword, you got shield, the whole thing, but this is like the TVA is well beyond that. And I think going through this story the way that we did, kind of through Loki's eyes, so to speak, and seeing it from his perspective, like that really was a dope ass wake up call, because throughout the episode you start to see that just with the same way as Loki, that foundation of belief that you basically had built up is now basically just gone. You are at square one now. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the point, and we just to back up a little bit, where Mobius and Loki begin their interaction. Loki's talking to the judge or whatnot, trying to plead his case. And Mobius is like, nah, we might have some use for dude. And that's when you start to really uncover and unpack the meat, I think, and potatoes of this story in this episode. Because that dialogue exchange, and I have said on numerous occasions that I felt like some of the exchanges in Falcon and Winter Soldier were dope as hell. Like particularly the stuff with Isaiah Bradley. Like it resonated with me. That was kind of what made me so high on Falcon and Winter Soldier to begin with. This blew that out the water. Like the Isaiah Bradley stuff had a certain level of relatability to it, to where you it hits you in a place that you weren't expected to be hit watching a show like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But this was like, damn, like you really did, like from Loki's perspective, when you like watching this, you think you understand this dude and you think you understand what's going on, but the more they uncover, the more you realize that like this is really kind of wiping the board for Loki, because this Loki hasn't experienced or had not experienced anything after that first Avengers movie. Like he dips at the end of that, and now he's on a whole new unscripted path. Like this is some stuff with, and that's what brings the TVA into it. It's just like, nah, you deviated now. Like you have effed up the timeline, and now we got to step in and we got to fix that. And not only that, but we got a situation that we feel like you could help us with, and you're gonna need to help us because you don't really have any options anymore.
Right.
Because you can't even go back to where, like, and that's the thing for me that really kind of resonated more than anything else, was the fact that it's like, not only are we talking about a whole new level of power and everything else, but the timeline, as even the TVA knows it, is different now.
Yep.
Like there's a, like now everything's off the board. And so it's like we're all in this point where we're kind of waiting for the answers and to see how this thing is going to play out. And I just think that's brilliant. I think from a storytelling standpoint, that is brilliant, because you don't have the luxury anymore of being able to look back and reference stuff that happened in the past, because you will immediately question the validity of whatever you're talking about.
Right.
That's what's so dope, man.
They found a way to actually, that's what I'm saying, cheapen the Infinity Stones. No, they found a way to start a new slate, to actually begin a new phase. Like usually when you begin a new phase, it's brand new. They might have certain elements of the old thing, of course, because it's what you built it upon. But being able to take that old thing and then revamp it and make it new, and then give it a brand new timeline with that,
right?
That's a unique thing to be able to do. So them being able to do that with this show, especially in just the first episode explainer, to me that's a big deal. Like usually it takes a couple episodes, or some kind of background, something. You got to meet some dude in the story that gives you the whole background. And like, they didn't even have to do that. They caught everybody up, even caught Loki up. And I love how they do that too. Like even in these Marvel shows, they find a way to find a character or use a character, and the way that they catch them up as if they're the audience for
Right.
the audience. I like how they do that.
Yeah,
Like
it's so
all
perfect.
the reactions are, yeah, they're genuine kind of, because they're acting. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, the same reaction that usually that character has is just about the same reaction that the viewer has. So just I enjoy them doing that. But to kind of, I guess, emboss you a bit again on the swarmy side,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that they did, that they have been introducing in this phase that a lot of people are overlooking, that I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with it yet, is the idea of the Nexus
Yeah.
and of Nexus beings and of Nexus incidents. That's something that's actually kind of new for the MCU, and we know that like when Nexus is usually like brought up, it's usually in a being. So like a Nexus being is something that is constant in each of the multiverses, but they're not allowed to interact with each other. Like the only
Right.
way a Nexus being can interact with another Nexus being is by the projection that you saw Wanda was doing. So it's not the same as what Doctor Strange was doing when he would project and do the astral projection, but his body would sleep or doing something over on the other side.
Right.
This isn't the same. The type of projection that Wanda does allows her to actually that's her Nexus avatar. You can look at it that way. So at the end of it, and that's why a lot of people were kind of confused on seeing that. And it kind of confused me too, because it was like she's doing what Doctor Strange is doing, but she's still moving around. How's that possible?
Mm-hmm.
And with her being a Nexus being, it explains that completely. So what they could essentially do with Loki, for example, is with this storyline, however this arc goes, let's just say by episode 6, he's actually not the god of mischief no more. He doesn't want to be a bad person. He doesn't enjoy doing it. He's actually a good character. We can even say that he's worthy of picking up the hammer. What they could potentially be doing with him is making Loki the Nexus character. Like Loki is one of the Nexus characters in one of the multiverses where he's actually worthy. They could be doing that in this, and then that will at least give you two Nexus beings that we would have came across in the MCU. And the way that it would be possible is because he's no longer in time. And that's what Mobius was trying to like explain to him. Like time works different where they
Mm-hmm.
are.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
not in a timeline. That they exist outside of that area. So they could be doing that with him. But the biggest thing that I'm getting at is the fact that it seems like in this phase and going forward, they're going to be spending the time on actually introducing Nexus level characters. And those are way more powerful than Infinity Stones. And that's kind
Gotcha.
of, I feel like, the reason why they dumbed down the Infinity Stones. It's like, yeah, the Infinity Stones are important for the universe, blah, 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 blah. But what's most important, and the reason why that the universe actually hadn't split in two, is not necessarily because of the TVA. It's more necessarily because you have characters like Wanda that exist that are crazy powerful, and they are the anchor for all the timelines that they probably wrapped around. I don't know if they'll explain it like that, but that would be a good explainer as to why the Avengers were able to go back and grab the Infinity Stones and do such and such and bring them back and all that stuff. Even though they're talking about able to create a branch timeline, they kind of got into that, but they couldn't get into it the way they wanted to because we all know putting the Infinity Stones back in that time, it doesn't create an
Right.
anomaly or
Right.
a Nexus event like they're saying, like Loki did. You can't put Loki back. So that creates a brand new timeline where things didn't happen or go the same way because he's not there. He doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
People he'll fade out of that. You know what I'm saying? They'll forget. But that still creates a new timeline. So the fact that they're starting to get into it more and then explains a little bit more from WandaVision 2 from that last one of the last commercials they had where they would like subscribe, talk to your doctor, make sure you can take this Nexus if that works for you. Now when you go back and look at that, now you see it again here in Loki, and it's like, what's the deal with the Nexus? I don't feel like they've fully explained it yet, but that's most likely where they're gonna go for the explainer. It's
Gotcha.
like, yeah, forget the Infinity Stones. You got Wanda in this multiverse, that's the Nexus character, and you'll have another character in this multiverse, and blah 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 blah. And that's probably where the madness comes from.
Gotcha. So you think it's just gonna
So,
be? You think they're just gonna flood us with Nexus beings, and it's gonna be
I
like,
wouldn't say flood. I think they're only allowed to have like 6.
okay,
It's something like that. There's a finite number of them. There's not
gotcha.
that many. The one I'm most aware of is like I said, Wanda and
Right.
Loki. But there are others. So I don't know if maybe What If we'll get into that a little bit more,
Okay.
because they're saying Uatu is supposed to be stepping into these alternate timelines, these alternate universes, and plucking people like Peggy, Party Thor, the different version of Star Lord, like all of them that we're seeing are the showrunners for those episodes. He's supposed to be pulling some of them out for a multiversal event. So,
Gotcha.
and then that'll facilitate another season. That's where that's coming from for season 2 of What If. There's a couple shows that they're saying are getting a couple seasons already, and
Right.
Loki's one of them. And
No,
we
no
see
doubt.
why so far.
Oh, without
We
question.
totally do.
Without question.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that I was wondering about when it came to kind of the way they were explaining stuff was, do you feel like, because again, they start, throughout the episode, again, we're watching Loki go through, his process of being caught up to what's going on with the TVA. But we also kind of start to see these little scenes where we see this mysterious, if you will, character that's going around killing the Minutemen of the TVA. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you, but there came one point where I was expecting one of the Minutemen to pop out and Preston Garvey tell me he had another settlement that needed help.
I know. It
I was
caught me
like,
too. I was like, they're called Minutemen?
they
Seriously?
got Minutemen. I'm
Yo.
like, oh man, here we go. I'm finna be on. So let me tell you, Loki gonna be saving settlements for the next
Right.
18
Next
episodes.
5.
Like,
Yeah, next 2 seasons of
2
5.
seasons of him just going around. Oh, and Mobius said, hey Loki, another settlement needs your help. I be damn. Like, I'm tired of this. Just get me to the castle already. Like, let's look. Fast forward. Can't be doing this.
Tell these, if it's not gonna be Preston Garvey, it might be your girl Missy Elliott popping out.
Oh
telling her she
man,
don't want this job.
but she don't want
That's
no
what they
Minutemen.
shoulda got.
Maybe
Right.
she's the villain.
That might be.
Cause she's like,
It
hey,
could
I don't
be.
want no Minutemen. We gotta get them up out of here. Who knows?
Trying to
But
break
no,
them off,
man.
show her what she got.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I digress. But
Yeah,
no, so
you
it's
lost
like
it.
you're watching and you're starting to kind of, they're laying this out. They have the scene where I think it's in the church or whatever, where they have the murder and Mobius is talking to the little girl or whatever, what have you. And everybody thought that was kind of a Mephisto reference, but I'm like, nah, I don't really think so. That was just kind of a,
Oh, that was totally Mephisto confirmed.
Well,
No,
there I go being a swarmy again.
I'm joking.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But the thing that was interesting to me, and this was something that I picked up, and maybe again, this was my swarmy ignorance, but I felt like it immediately made it obvious that like Loki was chasing himself. Like, I don't know if this is like a comic book precedent in terms of this story arc, if there's something where Loki was like basically commissioned to go hunt down himself in the comics, but you automatically kind of got that vibe that, yeah, Loki's the one behind all of this. And I think the interesting part about that, right, and is when you think about that, you have to ask yourself, okay, well then, we know there's multiple versions of Loki out there. We've already established that. So whoever this Loki is that is going around doing all this killing, he would have to have knowledge of the TVA already. And I kind of felt like if we could fast forward just a little bit, when we get to the scene where Loki watches his demise, I know everybody kind of looked at that and was like, oh, that's Loki kind of realizing that he has to take another path. And maybe this is kind of the introduction to Loki being, an anti-hero as more so than a villain. I looked at that in a whole different scenario. I looked at it as kind of the catalyst for Loki becoming this person that he becomes in the future at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're basically watching in a weird way the evolution of Loki to this ruthless, cold-blooded killer. Because it's like what do you have left when you realize that everything that you thought you knew was completely wrong? Mm-hmm. Like, that's literally what that, and that was so brilliant the way that they handled that, and those exchanges with Owen Wilson and the homie Loki, Tom Hiddleston, thank you. Dude, it was incredible the way that they were able to kind of play off of each other in those scenes, because it just wasn't
Yeah.
about the dialogue. It was the body language. It was the facial expressions. It was the energy that Loki brought in that when he was like actually looking back at his own past or whatnot. When Mobius started getting into him and like really challenging his psyche a little bit and kind of effing with Loki's pride a little bit and kind of playing with him. It was like, dude, they are really deconstructing. They are really trying to deconstruct this dude. They're trying to break Loki down to like his most fundamental element so that, you know, for the purposes of, at least from the TVA's perspective, trying to get more insight so that they can catch this killer. But I think more so than that, it's kind of a way to set up Loki for this new arc and this new journey that he's going to be on. And I think they're going to swerve us a little bit in the sense that I think Loki's going to end up being Loki as always, but it's going to be on a whole different level again. Now, that's not to say that somebody doesn't step in and Loki start working with that other somebody or whatever, but it's like, to me, I looked at that and it was just like, oh snap, this is the moment. Like, this is the moment that leads to this dude like becoming what we're seeing in the future. What you think, man? Like, did you see it that way, or do you feel like maybe, because the other thing that it could be also, or the other question is, okay, well, if Loki's the end all be all, if he's the villain, then where does that fit in with some of the stuff that we heard about Kang and all of that? So where do you kind of sit with that? Like, do you feel like the Kang stuff is still at play because that could be somebody Loki could hook up with, or do you feel like maybe Kang is a part of this in some way, shape, or form already?
Right. Okay, so to answer the Loki question, I do agree that, yeah, a lot of what we saw with Mobius and what he's possibly doing is the catalyst to what creates the Loki that they're chasing now. I would say the ultimate difference between the two could possibly be the fact that they're from different timelines and different multiverses. So, I mean, just a word or two could honestly change between him being that bad guy or him being in the middle or him being a good guy. You know what I'm saying? So, I do say maybe some of the events are the same. Obviously, he stepped out. Obviously, he has to be some kind of a variant because they're chasing variant versions of him. And what I'm guessing is the versions of Loki that they're gonna have to track down and him take out however he does. It is a direct effect of the one Loki they just got stepping out. So usually when you do something like that, it creates like a ripple effect in time. Those those things create extra versions of you and other types of things. You know what I'm saying? It kind of explained that a little bit in that movie Deja Vu with Denzel Washington.
Yep.
It's kind of the same, but the MCU has their own rules.
Gotcha.
So, I would say maybe in this next episode where we finally see in the trailer where he's talking about you messed up the timeline, made these, you're gonna help us fix it.
Yeah.
We'll see a little more of an explainer behind that. But I do feel that, yeah, him meeting him and going through this to have him even chase down himself in this way is the catalyst for him being the villain in the end. As far as the Kang situation goes, there's a couple of different ways that they could possibly play that. And I think I mentioned that last night on the nightly news. So there's a couple different ways they could do it. The one way they could do it is they could have Loki travel to a multiverse universe where Kang is actually the ruler of the TVA.
Yeah.
So there is a version in which Kang, the TVA made a deal with him for him to take over the TVA for like 1,000 years or something like that.
Okay.
And so you could possibly see Kang in that situation. The only other thing that I feel like they could do if it's not like a cameo, him going to a different multiverse, is he would have to show up in some kind of like a post-credit scene that sets him up for Quantum Mania. That would be the only other thing that I would say makes sense, because Kang also goes back in time and destroys the TVA. He becomes like a time king himself. He rules in that respect too. So there's a couple different ways he rules. One, they make a deal with him, and the other, he just flat out destroys them because he wants to be the only person who has control over time, period.
Right.
And I would say that would facilitate at least a post-credit scene to set up Quantum Mania, and in some way that in Ant-Man. I see Ant-Man like because they're the ones that even introduced the quantum realm and all that stuff in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that being like as a premise for the movie, but I really have to get some info on what they're really going to do with Ant-Man, because like he is not the dude to take on Kang at all. Like
Right.
even the types of people he could probably even reach out to get help are not the types of people that you would call to help you with a character like Kang. So I'm
Okay.
really interested in seeing how they try to play that, and maybe we'll get a little bit of context to that in Loki.
Yeah.
But I'm really more banking on them sending him to a different multiverse, and he'll have to like convene with that TVA version or something like that. And we see it's not the three lizards; it's actually maybe the three lizards and Kang. I can see it going that way because he's kind of chill. He sits back. He's an older man by then. He's ruled. He's chill. It's whatever. He ain't trying to destroy nothing when he's that version. So I can see them doing that.
Cool. Yeah, I think the one thing about this first episode is it's still only the first episode, and there's so many different directions that stuff can go. But it's like they gave you so much juice, so much stuff in this episode to kind of digest. And if we can, I want to back up just a little bit more, because there was another question I want to ask you.
So
there's rumors that as they were kind of escorting the homie Loki down to the little trial area, we see a little clip of one of the Minutemen coming in with somebody kind of riding with him. And a lot of people thought and speculated that might be Peggy Carter. So my question to you is, what do you think? Do you think that was Peggy, or do you think that was just somebody kind of looked like that? Do you think that person will have any significance moving forward? Or you think this is one of those people reaching?
I'll honestly have to go back and catch that and see it for myself before I can give you an accurate answer. I did hear about that with them possibly sneaking in Peggy Carter, but to be honest, I mean, how much in real time, like how much sense does that really make? If anybody should have got hauled in for any kind of time variant, anything, should have been Cap.
Right. No,
it wouldn't have been Peggy. I feel like she did everything she was supposed to do based on how they set her up, if the TVA is ultimately in control. So
right.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it again, because we got to remember this is Loki's show, and they're putting in so many different versions of Loki. There's not to say that they didn't already apprehend another version of Loki, and they're just saving that for later, and that'll pay off maybe the trailer part that we see where they're sitting what looks like Vormir. Or at least some kind of off-world planet, and they're talking.
Right.
So we might see that by the next episode. They may reveal that person to be whoever, and then it's not just Loki going out. I hear they're supposed to at least give him a few different love interests in this. So for it to be Peggy wouldn't really make much sense unless it's like the what if version of Peggy. Unless it's the super soldier serum version of Peggy, then okay, explain that. But other than that version, it doesn't make any sense for it to be her.
Yeah,
but like I said, I got to go back and look.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I feel like you're spot on, because when you think about the Peggy thing, it's like, okay, well that was a young Peggy, that wasn't old Peggy. So for Cap to have come back as an old man, that meant he spent that 40, 50, 60, 70 years with Peggy. That's the only reason he would have stuck around. So it would have made sense. It would have made more sense had that been like an old Peg that they came walking in, because then it's like, well, now they finally tracked down where this came from or whatever, or tracked her down, and they bringing her in to question her to find out where Cap is or something like that. You know what I mean? I could see that.
Yeah.
But just for her to be the young version of Peggy, unless she's working with the TVA or has some kind of knowledge of the TVA, which I doubt, I just don't see that being the case. I don't think it was Peggy. I definitely don't think it was Agatha. I've saw some people saying that. I don't think it was Agatha at all. I don't think it was, I don't think it was Peggy. I think it was one of those random things. Now, could we be wrong? Hell yeah. We've been wrong quite a bit, and we've seen that one thing that White Suge and Marvel love to do is throw those curveballs and make you think something, and then you get a Ralph Boner. But I digress.
Right.
We don't know, who it could. I don't think that would be. I don't think that was Peggy, to be honest. I think it was just kind of honestly, I think it was like a little throwaway kind of thing, just, you know, background
Yeah.
context type
I
situation.
mean, to me, it wouldn't make sense mostly because one, they already came out and said that Agents of Shield's not canon. Okay,
Right.
they completely came out 100% was like, yeah, Agents of Shield was its own thing. Appreciate it for what it was, but it's
Right.
got nothing to do with the MCU. And the only other show to me that kind of synonymous with Agents of Shield is Peggy Carter show they
Right.
had. And there's been no talks of honestly whether that's canon or not, to be completely honest. So I can see why that would be a question for something to answer that. You know, is Peggy Carter's her is the Carter show canon? Um, but to me, like it shouldn't, and if it is, it wouldn't have anything to do with this to
Okay.
me for that show to be, because I know I didn't watch it, but I don't remember there being any kind of story that came out or anybody was talking about or buzzing about where Peggy Carter travels through time. I
Right.
don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's only Cap. Everything points back to Cap, and apparently they condone that. So him even
Mm-hmm.
living his life by going back and spending time with her, either the TVA was like, "You've done enough," because we wanted to, like I said to Loki, "You're created to make these characters have to be able to reach their next level of achievement." You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so unless they were saying, "Yeah, well, you know what, you did such a great job, you achieved the level of which we wanted you to reach, we allowing you to live with Peggy." Again, nothing points to it being her to come back in the TVA in any kind of way.
Yeah.
So
Agree. Totally.
yeah, I don't
Totally
know. I
agree,
can't make
man.
any honest sense of that. To be
Gotcha. Yeah,
honest.
just wanted to circle back to that because I know people were talking about that, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. But let's get back to the Mobius Loki conversation and talking about some of that acting with Hiddleston and Owen Wilson and how that was getting down. Because I think, again, just the way that he was kind of verbally deconstructing Loki in that moment, it really gave you a lot of insight, and it really, I think, was kind of a thing not just meant for Loki to kind of reflect on, but it was almost like a low-key, see what I did there?
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a low-key jab at like Loki fans, not in a negative way, but kind of a let us properly contextualize what this dude is that you are rooting for. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like even Loki came to a point where he admitted to himself he was a villain. And, you know, and then that's when Mobius was like, well, no, I don't, not necessarily. I think you can be something different. And it's like, yeah, cool. Like we all have choices, right? And that's what life is about. You know, which direction do you go when you have the option to choose? And I think that's what we're kind of being led to believe with Loki, is that this is kind of his way of finding his new, like his true purpose. But what's interesting to me though, is there's also, you know, and not to get too meta with it, but there's this idea of, you know, free will versus predetermined versus fate, basically. So
Right.
is Loki really free to kind of like carve his own path again at this point? Or is he still an instrument of a system operating in a capacity that he doesn't really have a true choice in how that plays out? Because if Loki's nature is exactly the way that they explained it, then it's basically destined or predetermined that he is to evolve into this, you know, this killer. Like that's basically what the arc seems like, where it seems like now again, it
So
could change.
yeah, because it's tricky. It's real tricky with the position that he's in right now. And that's why I'm kind of glad you posed it that way, because I say, yes, I think in this position, the fact that he's actually essentially out of time and away from the actual TVA influence, now he does have a chance to make his own path, make his own choices, and do what he would want to do for himself. Because I feel like they kept asking him, you know, do you like to hurt people? Do you like to
Right,
kill people?
right.
Do you like to do this? And the ultimate answer that he, you know, came back to honestly was, no, I don't like to do it. He does it as a defense mechanism.
Right.
But at the same time, with him being placed in a timeline in which he actually doesn't have any control over what he does, it's what the TVA kind of destines him to do. That version of Loki, yeah, he always was to fall back on being the bad guy, fall back
Right.
on that defense mechanism, because the TVA needed him to be that person to fail in order for the other people to succeed and be good at what they're
Bingo.
doing. So now that he's out of that time, and they keep saying time works differently here. I feel like, yeah, he has the opportunity to do whatever he wants if they take him to another timeline to do whatever they ask him to, and he chooses not to, or he leaves a breadcrumb there or something that was not there that they didn't detect. That could mess up everything by itself, just period. So I think, yeah, I think now he's a little more free than he was when he first started. So
Right.
that.
So yeah, I agree he does have a little bit more free because again, knowledge grants you that freedom, right? Once you start to realize and you understand some of the inner workings behind whatever this thing called life it really is, look talking about it specifically from the standpoint of the MCU, like that's the power, right? When you have knowledge beyond what the masses have, you instantly gain a level of power that you didn't have before. You know what I'm saying? Now the odds are kind of stacked in your favor. And that's the thing that I feel like is really interesting about what we got in this setup with Loki in this first episode is Loki now is armed with something that like is more powerful than any stone, than any piece of magic or whatever. Loki's got the truth. Like Loki knows what's up now. Right. And that's the thing that like when you understand that, you know, when you start thinking about things from that perspective, like that can drive you to a point where if you're Loki and you say, you know, my whole thing is I'm destined to rule, I'm destined to do this. That to me feels like the natural inclination, and I think even Mobius like hinted at this during that exchange with Loki, because he made a comment and asked dude, he said, something, I don't know if he asked him, but he said basically made reference to the fact that he's like, I know that you're just trying to charm me because you getting ready to like betray me down the line. Like, is this always the way that you act? And so it's like,
he was saying that like a king doesn't bow or whatever. He was like, or, you know, he doesn't conform in a way. And Loki, he was pretty much saying like, even if you're getting prepared to stab somebody in the back, you're going to conform a bit because you have to gain their trust. So that's what you're talking about.
Right. And so, but my thing was, it was like, in that scene, I feel like Mobius was making the observation, just letting like almost like letting Loki know, look, let's not get it twisted. I already know what your MO is. It doesn't matter how cooperative you seem right now. At some point, you're gonna try to stab me in the back. Like that's who you are. So my thing is, it's like if that's who he is, and if that's what you know the driving point was, then is this gonna be a question of, you know, I feel like it can go in two different directions. It's like you could either say that it's going to be a story of how we really do have some ability to determine our destiny, depending on the level of knowledge that we have, or is this a story of inevitability? Because again, even with Loki knowing what's going on, even with Loki kind of having this option to go in a different direction, even if he does go in a different direction in terms of, you know, something that's opposite of what, you know, the decisions of his character may have been prior to this moment. Like if we start seeing Loki doing honorable type stuff just out of, because let's say he's changing, is that really a change, or is he like adapting for that situation, ultimately to revert back to being the same, you know what I'm saying, the same Loki? So is it really free will, or are you being played? And that's the thing that's so that like this reminds me so much of like the conversations I would have about the Matrix and like Neo's journey. Because again, the problem, like he was saying there, the problem is choice. And that machines could not account for choice. They were trying to find a way to account for the irrationality of human beings making choices that don't necessarily make logical sense. And so, you know, that the whole idea of the prophecy was a way for them to kind of try to manipulate humans into making these choices that would help facilitate like the ongoing process of the Matrix. And so I feel like when I was watching this first episode, that like Mobius and the TVA were kind of doing the same thing to Loki. Like they're basically saying, look, we'll give you a different route. Like you don't have any options at this point. You can't go back. We either wipe you from existence or you're going to have to play ball with us on some kind of level. And so Loki, you know, takes it upon himself because they have the little interruption. Old girl comes in and says, you know, we've got another situation. We've got some more Minutemen dead. Loki takes that opportunity to be like, all right, here's the time for me to dip. He snakes the little controller off of homeboy where you don't see when he ain't looking. And then Loki's out. He like, peace out, I'm gone. But
Yeah.
in that process of escaping, he comes to a realization there is no escape. Like you can't go nowhere, bro. Like you stuck.
Nope.
Them stones ain't finna save you. All your magic ain't finna save you. You having control of this mechanism now isn't even gonna save you. Like you have nowhere to go. And it leads him inevitably back to the interrogation room where he then, like any of us would, I think, is tempted to then go and see the rest of his life and see how things played out. And so we get that scene where he's watching kind of the events of his life unfold in this movie. And I don't know about you, bro, but you want to talk about emotions. You want to talk about like going all up and down the gambit. Like I was right there with Tom Hiddleston looking at, when you go back and you see like you reminded that it really was Loki that sent the dark elves to kill his mom, even though it was unknowing.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it hit different. It hit different. You know what I'm saying?
It hit me different.
Oh, without question, man.
Yeah.
It's like
That's the part that got me.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I think the thing for me though, the big one for me was the very end, because you see that, you see him with his father, and Odin, and they like getting ready to go, and he's like, "I love you, my sons," and he's like, "Damn, he called me son." Like you can see it in his eyes. Like there was no dialogue from Loki in that, but you could see and hear and feel the emotions that he was going through in that. And then like him and Thor having that moment where he's like, "Well, maybe you aren't the worst, brother," and he's like, "Yeah, maybe not." And then you get to like where it came full circle, where he tries one more time to be Loki, the slick Loki that he believes himself to be, and Thanos is like, "Nah, bro, it ain't going down like that this time. I know you right. It ain't working." And Loki sees that that's where it ends for him. Now here's where another thing where I've seen debate and people asking this question. At that point, you see Loki kind of have this look of almost shock that that's the way he went out. Like that's the way I took it initially, was that he was like, "Damn, I go out like that." But then his facial expression kind of changes from that shock to almost determination. And he's kind of laughing about it. And they ask him, like, "What's so funny?" And he's like, "Glorious purpose." And I know some people were asking, was that something he heard from Thanos? Is that why he thought that was funny? I don't think so. I don't think it was a Thanos thing. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But what I think it was, again, it was a situation where Loki realized all his life, he had been chasing this idea of ruling, of being a king, of being a god, of, exerting his dominance. And for all of his tricks and all of the slickery he tried, he still ended up doing exactly what Mobius said, which was basically ultimately sacrificing himself so that others could achieve the best version of themselves. Yep, like that was ultimately all the way at the end. That's what his life was. And I think what he was laughing at was the irony of that realization that, yeah, you're just really a pawn. Like in the scheme of this, you are just really a part of a small part of a larger mechanism that is, this sacred timeline. And I think that's the thing that he's fighting against. And I think that's the thing that I think will lead Loki to kind of spazzing out later on, is the idea that he wants to be the person, maybe even the first person in his mind, to defeat fate. You know what I mean? Like to say, you know what? Yeah. You don't control me. I am going to create my own destiny, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And that is, in my opinion, powerful on so many levels, because when you're somebody like Loki, right? And you have that determination, how long is it before you start to disregard the implications or the ramifications of what decisions you make? Like, again, you see,
Probably
like,
not too long.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you see the point where, like, he's, this future Loki, if we to believe that this really is Loki in the future killing or Loki variant that's killing, these Minutemen and whatnot, you got to ask yourself, it's like, what is his method? Why is he wanting to wipe them out? Is he trying to essentially destroy the TVA? Like, is he trying to thin them out to where he can essentially destroy them, and then now he's basically in control of time? Is that where he wants to? Is that where he's trying to go with that, or is this kind of him just fighting against the inevitability of where he's like what his role is meant to be? And that's where I think this show is going to get really interesting. Is as we revisit, because I think, and that was, and this dude's name escapes me again, but like they gave us the scene on the plane with the dude that did the heist, where he held the plane hostage or whatnot, and they kind of gave us the hint that was Loki and Thor and Heimdall kind of playing games or whatnot. You get that, and so I think we're gonna see more instances like that. I think that all of those flashbacks that we'll see, or all of those things that we see with Loki, kind of like ingratiating with humans and with Earth, is going to be kind of very different, or not very different, but different versions of, little one-off situations that he's done to kind of meddle with time in a way, or meddle with history in some way, shape, or form, right? So then at that point, or from there, like, how do you feel about where he could go in the sense of, really embracing that, or trying to push against it? Like, do you think that's something that Loki is himself will struggle with in this series, or do you think it's going to be more about Loki kind of just playing the role until he sees his moment to kind of like seize whatever opportunity he thinks he has?
I see he's probably going to be a struggle back and forth. I think he's going to have the struggle of trying to be the good guy because he realizes he doesn't have anywhere else to go. So he's going to have to follow Mobius, but it's just his nature. Like, he's always going to be looking for that side-eyed way out, side-eyed thing to do. But I think in moments where I think there's going to be plenty of moments where we're going to think Loki's going to like do a backstabbing type thing and then prove us wrong, until we get to the point where I think he finally catches up with this hooded Loki version of him. They have a conversation, and whether he takes him out or not, even if he does take him out, I just feel like he's going to become that new iteration of a negative Nexus being. And I have a theory. I think that although we got the What If series, and we know that's getting to season 2, and then Loki is heavily rumored it's getting to season 2. They're talking about in the What If series that they're supposed to be, like I said, plucking out these different versions and making them the champions of the multiverse. I think, or I feel, the direction that they may be going, and it's the same kind of news that we're supposedly hearing about Spider-Man No Way Home. They're going to be villains who have access somehow to the multiverse, and they're going to be pulling different versions out of the multiverse. So you're going to get a different, the Alfred Molina Spider-Man, Doc Ock that we saw. We're going to get him from a different version. We're going to get the Green Goblin. We're bringing that one back. We're getting Jamie Foxx. All of them are, the whole thing with that is supposed to be getting a multiversal Sinister Six. And it's rumored, and we're not even talking about Loki no more, so spoiler alert. It's rumored that the Sinister Six is supposed to be a multiversal version, and that's where Craven and all of them come into play for Sony. So I think that the MCU is still kind of doing their own little version of that. And what we're seeing is one of these Nexus beings going around killing the TVA. Even if Loki catches up with him and kills him, he can become the new Nexus being. And we're going to get more of them, but we're probably going to get them on more of a negative side. And that's going to kind of facilitate either the next Secret War or whatever conflict that Uatu is pulling all these other champions out of their multiverses for.
Okay.
I think they're building forces on both sides, and the way this Loki series will end will kind of depict that at the same time. And I think that's why What If kind of comes after Loki. The way they're doing things in these timelines, it would make the best sense if you show that, yeah, we're going to be building a multiversal platform of villains, and we're building a multiversal platform of heroes, and then you're going to get all these different stories. And like I said, that could be Secret Wars right there.
Got you.
So like if it does turn out to be Peggy Carter for some reason, it would make sense, but it wouldn't make sense. It'll be another WandaVision thing. It won't make sense until we get the next property that makes it make sense.
Got you.
Like we always say.
Yep.
So,
no doubt. No doubt.
that's my theory.
That's what's up. Hey, I'm with you on that. I think too, one of the things that's going to be interesting for me as we move forward with Loki is really watching and seeing how Loki responds to the I guess you would say knowledge that he's going to gain throughout this series, because you got to know and you got to figure that if he's going to end up working with the TVA, that he's going to be privy, or he's going to end up finding out some stuff that, again, just like in this first episode, is going to totally shake the foundation of his understanding of what things are and what place they have in the universe or whatnot. And so I'm going to be interested in seeing how Loki receives all of that information and what it does to his psyche, and like how Loki is able to handle that knowledge. Because you got to think, man, like if somebody basically pulls the carpet from under you like that, that's gotta mess with you, son. Like I don't care how put together you are. I don't care how logical, how intelligent you feel you are. If somebody like shows you flat out proof that what you thought you knew is like just imagine somebody coming to you and proving that 2 + 2 don't equal 4.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that would fundamentally, like, it couldn't be part. You're thinking in your head, there's no way, because that means that math doesn't apply, and all of these other things that we have that are built on that system don't make any sense, and yada yada yada. But it's like, yeah, that's based on your understanding of what all of this stuff means. If you don't have the proper context behind it, then yeah, it's going to be difficult for you to receive it, especially if you've operated your entire life based on this set of rules that don't actually apply like that. Right. You know what I mean? And so as a person, the more of that information you start to learn, the crazier it like, the more I feel like that can mess up your psyche. Like that can really mess you up to where you're operating in a way that it feels free, and it feels like you have this clearness, or this clarity to your purpose. But it could also send you down a path where you just go flat out crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, because if there's nothing, if there's no consequences, if none of this stuff really matters, and you know that you're just a part of a greater thing that you really don't have any control over, then eventually you're not, like, some people aren't going to be cool with that. Like somebody might not be okay with just saying, all right, well then I'm just going to go ahead and live my life and let the decisions be what they are, since that's the way it's meant to be. Some people aren't going to be able to handle it like that. They will push back on that idea, and they will continue to try to understand, or refute the fact that they don't have control. And that's the thing for me that I want to see with Loki in these next few episodes is, what does all of this new information do to him from a mental standpoint? Right. Like what kind of, by the time we get to the end of this season, where is Loki's head at? And how is and will we get to see Loki interact with some of the people that he's known before this? You know what I'm saying? Like I know I think I saw that it's confirmed that he won't be in Thor 4, which is kind of disappointing if that's true. But I
don't know if that's true. I'm hearing mixed events.
Right,
I
exactly.
Heard that he's not in it, and then I'm hearing that he is. So I don't know yet. I'll have to wait.
Right, but the thing is,
I got a good source that says he is, but I don't.
No doubt. And that's what's crazy to me. Like, you think about that. What are those conversations going to be like the first time he talks to Thor again?
Right.
Like, how do you, when you know what he know, how do you explain that to somebody that without necessarily showing them what you're talking about? You know what I mean? It's that's the thing that to me is so interesting about it. Is it just like, you don't really, it's so much there just from a meta standpoint, like, that I didn't expect. Like, I knew that this show was going to be dope. I knew that it was going to kind of be our first real introduction into Phase 4. But it's just like it. There's so many questions that a show like this raises, just from a concept standpoint and from a philosophical standpoint, just based on just like how you would even react in that type of
Yeah.
a situation, or
Well,
being
see,
in Loki's
I
shoes.
think I think that's what makes the like that's why the writer, Mike, like the guy that got Michael Waldron, I think that's
Yes.
why he's definitely the one that they hired. Because if you go back and watch some of the Rick and Morty episodes,
Mm-hmm.
like despite the on top, it's a cartoon. It's definitely not for kids. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch some of the elements that they actually put in there as the show itself goes on in the seasons, it kind of branches away from it being more of a show that you go and look at because of the farce of it all. And then you actually start seeing that they start putting some good elements in there between Rick and Morty.
Right.
Like it's not just them to being family members and him pulling them out of the class to be able to go with him to be an extra hand. Like Morty gets tired of that shit and he starts to kind of push back, and then they have to get to form some kind of like a equality of
Right.
ways. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, Rick, this is what you're good at, but this is what I'm good at now. You wouldn't be shit without me, blah, 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 blah. And
Got you.
you kind of get to see that kind of play out already with this writer and how he's doing Loki. You get all of the time aspects that they have and how he's
Mhm.
explaining that and how they're going to explain that. You get to see pretty much this is like as if either the Council of Ricks got their shit together, and that's Mobius, and now he's going up against a rogue Morty, and that would be Loki. It's I could kind of like watching it. I see a lot of those elements after
Yeah.
watching Rick and Morty, which is crazy because I remember Nerd Card. Everybody was like, "You need to watch Nick and Morty. You need to watch Rick and Morty." And I was like, "No, I'm not watching Rick and Morty." And I broke down and did it. And it's actually not that bad of a show. Just like Dave Chappelle said, "Better not bring your kids." It's totally it is
Yeah,
not
man.
for children, man. All the like the first couple of seasons is bleeped out, but like they'd stopped caring and they would it's all the F bombs and everything they drop in that. Woo,
Mm. Like that,
that's
huh? It's
like
like that.
as soon as your little kid, as soon as your daughter, whoever walking, you're gonna be like, "No, baby, no,
This
baby,
ain't for you. This is not
this
for
ain't for
you.
you." Right? This is not for
That's
you.
what's up, man.
But it's cool though to see the writer be able to come from like that kind of platform to be able to go to the MCU and tell a good story in this kind of fashion. You know,
Right.
it's not racy, it's not vulgar. It's a nice MCU story with
Mhm.
a beloved character, and you get to see him from many different aspects and different facets
Exactly.
from this writer's perspective. So yeah, like there's a lot of different ways that they could go with it. I still think kind of where we started, in the end, you're gonna watch Loki live long enough to become the villain,
Mhm.
and he's gonna go around and mess some stuff up. But I don't think he's gonna do it alone for too long.
No,
People.
I agree. I agree. So let's go here, and then we'll transition into a little bit of that conversation and libation. Going forward, what are your expectations after seeing the first episode for these next, what is it, 5? We got 5 more episodes to go in this
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So what
Mhm.
what are your expectations for those, and where do you see right now this show kind of leaving off?
Going forward, I would like for them to spend a little more time, or expect them to spend a little more time, explaining the how time works. I don't feel, what I'm hearing in these streets, they didn't feel that Endgame did a good job at that.
Okay,
So they're going to use this story for that. So I figure they explain that a little bit more.
that's what's up.
We may get a little more explainer on, excuse me, on power levels. This
Okay,
show could be the one that actually explains a little more of the power levels. They could get more into the Nexus part of it. I
gotcha.
feel like a lot of the different multiverses that they're going to go to, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're going to travel to a multiverse and they're like, "Oh no, we can't go there," and neither can that Loki. And he's going to be like, "Why?" It's because, well, there's a version of you that exists there that it keeps you from being able to enter that. If you enter that, that'll destroy the timeline. Blah blah. We
Mm,
can't take it there, and that'll be an Easter egg implication that, okay, so there is a timeline in which it's canon that Loki is a Nexus being.
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they explain, and that'll be the little pinpoint explainer that they'll give. Because I think they're going to bust that wide open when it comes to Multiverse of Madness. So I
Yeah,
don't see them getting into it too much.
no
Um,
doubt.
But I feel like explain some of that. Maybe they'll get into the different versions of Loki and maybe how he jumped around and how it messed up things and how he's got to fix it, of course. But where to leave him off? For right now, like I said, I'm still going to stick with the fact that he's going to become the villain because, like we said, it's his nature. And like Mobius said, you're going to smooth, you're going to sit back and take the follow role just so you can be able to learn how to adequately stab someone in the back.
Right.
I think that's just what he's doing right now. He's realizing he can't go anywhere. There's nothing he can do about it. And he's going to have to play ball, like you said. But playing ball doesn't mean that you come in every inning learning that you're going to play it by the book. You look at the book and you start learning, okay, here's a loophole here, or I can cheat. Oh, here's a loophole here. And I think eventually we'll see him do that. And that's going to facilitate him either meeting up with this negative version and still killing him. But in order to be the only supreme mischief Loki, to be able to do it the right way. Like, yeah, I see what you're doing. I watch how you try to take the TVA out. Very clever, but I think my way is better. Stab, stab, shank, shank. And then he just goes and stab, stab, shank, shanks everybody else a little better than that Loki did. I just feel like maybe, like I said, those ripples. This is a ripple, and this is him killing that ripple, only to widen that. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat.
Right.
So I think it'll leave off with him being the villain. That's where I'm thinking. And before you ask, because I already know we're going to get into that, the rating. My rating for this episode, of course, I automatically have to give it a 10. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give it a 10 because, like I said, for some of you nerd vengers who might be new, this past year has been very trying and very tribulous for me as far, put that in the book, tribulous. Because of my mother. My mom she suffered a stroke last December, actually, the New Year's Eve. And she's been someone I've been speaking very close to lately. So that scene where he was looking at his mom and realizing that it was his fault, that
man.
I don't resonate with it from that standpoint, but just just the mother aspect, looking at her, not being here anymore, him realizing all that aspect, that got me. And I ain't even gonna front, man. I was sitting by myself and still had to man up. I was like,
yeah, hey man.
Yeah, so no, anything able to do that to me, I got to give it a 10.
Yeah, it got me too, man. I'm gonna go with a 9.5. And the reason I'm doing that is because, again, I always like to save room, because if we get a show that was better than this one, can't go higher than 10, man. So I'm gonna say 9.5. But I will say this again. For my complaints or my issues with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, this is what I meant when I said I needed something from those shows to just like blow me away. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was waiting on. This right here, like just the way that it was set up, the way that they introduced everything, the way that it was presented, the acting, the soundtrack, bro. We didn't even talk about the fact that the music, just every scene it hit. It was slapping in every scene. Like it complemented the emotion in every part. My favorite part of the episode, of course, is Loki kind of going down memory lane or seeing and then peering into his future and getting that information and just watching Tom Hiddleston's performance there. Like, we about to get to a point, man, where some of these shows, these Marvel shows, they gonna have to start getting some of that love in these awards, bro. Like, if this is the quality that we gonna start getting, then we gonna have to like, Marvel might be finna take over for real, because this is what it's just it. This show came out like from the very beginning. When you see the beginning, even though it was a retread of footage we had already seen, you still, like, the tone was set. I mean, when my man landed in that desert and everything else, like, you already are like fully engaged. You are locked in. You want to know what's going on, and they didn't let you go this whole episode. There was not one point in this episode where I was like, man, this is dragging, or I don't know where this is going. Like, you wanted to follow every minute of this episode. So that's why I said that for my money, it was better than any episode of WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just from that respect that this is what you expect from the MCU. When you say MCU is gonna put out a show, that's what I'm like. Look, this is what I'm looking for right here.
Yes.
And I think as we move forward with this season, there are going to be, I think, at least 2 more episodes where we are like straight blown away by like implications of what happened. Like, I think there's going to be even more shit that we going to pay attention to and go, oh, damn, that's what we doing. That's I think that's what we're going to get. So I'm going to leave this episode at a 9.5. The last thing I will ask before we get into conversation and libation, how soon before we see, do you think we'll start seeing Loki variants in the very next episode? Hey, or do you think we're gonna get a little bit? It'll be another couple of episodes before we get there.
No, I don't think they'll waste too much time. They already ended it with the fact that he's learning he's chasing himself.
Yeah.
So I think it only facilitates them already getting into it. I just don't know which order they're gonna show the variants. I wouldn't put it past them to make this next episode, the first Loki we see, be the president one. They put a lot into that as far as on the trailer goes. They don't really show it. Like even when he's sitting on whatever planet that is with whoever he's sitting with, they don't even let you see their face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they show you all those different types of Lokis and like the different people that he fights to get to these Lokis. But that's the only one that you really honestly see outright in the trailer. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next one that we see in the second episode. But from there, I don't know what versions we're gonna get. It's real questionable. Questionable. They got 6 episodes, so they gotta do a lot.
They gotta do a lot.
These next 6.
Yes, which I am excited to see how much they cram into these 6 episodes.
Definitely.
I am so excited. And so with that being the case, let's go on and roll into this conversation and libation. We spent all that time talking Loki and didn't even get to mention that Bad Batch that's coming later tonight.
No, we didn't.
We might have some implications because if I'm not mistaken, that last episode ended with a little bit of a sneak cameo, and people might be waiting to see exactly who that cameo is in case they don't already know. So it's gonna be on tonight, man. Like that Bad Batch, Star Wars, man. You know I'll be ready, man.
You better be ready.
Come on now.
You already know how I know Al is ready. You guys want to know? It's because he got Surfshark. Exactly why. He is ready with that VPN, and he's gonna go to Surfshark. And I bet you he used that code word nerds, so he was able to get the 83% off with the 3 extra months for free.
3 months free. That's where they got me.
Yeah, man. So like I always do, I'm gonna go ahead, pop the Surfshark here in the chat for all you new nerd ventures, and make sure that you go there, Surfshark, and use that nerds code, 83% off, man.
That part.
Free, man. Do it for the streets. Do it for the streets, man.
Yeah, man.
And off top, first one for me that I got is the homegirl Nikki with the 19.
What up, Nikki?
99. Thank you very much, lady man. And that is shout out to Whitney for joining Diamond Squad. Much love, Al and Lavis. Even though y'all be making me feel some type of way sometimes. After dark to the moon. I'm ready. Hey, if we didn't make you feel no type of way, we're not doing our job. So at least we make you feel some type of way.
There you go. There
That's what
you go.
Is.
You tell them, man.
And we know it, man. You the one that's supposed to be telling them, okay? You the one supposed to be hitting them with the sauce.
Well, I mean, look, man, if they ain't got the sauce, then they lost.
Son.
You know this. You know this. You know this.
You know who else knows this? Tommy Banana with the $5. He said, Bad Batch tonight is going to be bananas. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Look what we have here. We have Mike Oxfat, who's a new member.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome.
You are
You are an
in
adventure
adventure
now.
now,
Yes, sir.
my
Yes, sir.
man.
Then we got Never Lose Your Nerd with the $2. Said Loki is meh like Boba Fett. Don't get the hype.
Everybody's entitled to an opinion. I
This
can
is
feel
very
that.
true.
I can feel that, man.
Yeah. Very true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you stay tuned and you'll get the hype.
Maybe it'll sway you a little bit. Just keep watching.
Maybe it will. Maybe it will. You know who I think it might have swayed though?
Who that is?
It might have swayed Chris Smith. Because we have another new member.
Oh.
And so, welcome.
Welcome. You are an adventure now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always nice.
You know, because around here in After Dark, we take our nerve-engine very seriously.
Yes.
Indeed.
Very seriously.
Indeed.
All right. Let me catch up with myself here. I remember last time I was skipping them. I wasn't marking them, making sure I got them.
Yeah, man.
I can't do that.
Then they be in our DMs getting at us, and I'll be like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't want to do it to Freeman Cooper with the $5. And he said, this was a great first episode. This feels like we are finally in phase 4. Facts.
All facts.
All
facts.
Like even though, like you said, they showed us some footage that we kind of already seen. I felt like this was the beginning to like that new movie that finally starts the next sequel. That's what I felt like whenever I was watching this. It really did feel like I was watching the movie.
No doubt.
Which is rare.
Hey man, yeah,
very rare.
I just want to say this real quick. If this first episode of Loki didn't make it painfully obvious that the Pandy had something to do with WandaVision and Falcon, then I don't know what else, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to tell you. It's clear that those shows were impacted when you look at the way this first episode of Loki popped off. I'm just saying. You got more juice in this episode than I think in the first half of WandaVision. Like straight up.
Oh yeah.
Straight up. They wasted no time letting you know what was going on.
Yeah, I was about to say for WandaVision to even be equivalent, you'd have to watch 1 through 7.
Yeah, exactly.
For it to be
that's what I'm saying.
One episode. So yeah.
That part.
Then you got Never Lose Your Nerd Again with the $2. He said, hell no. Wanda's my boo, and it's the best show so far.
I respect it.
Not a hot take.
I respect it. It is a hot take.
Definitely a hot take. Like you said, we
shall take that take to the morning stream. See how
man.
That'd be a lovely little debate, don't you think?
Josh is gonna be like, where's my band hammer?
You know.
Right.
Hell yeah.
This is an odd number. We got second player with the 266. First time I've ever had to say that one. Thank you. And he said they bonered the Stones. Man, I don't
think they bonered the Stones. No,
I don't think they bonered it.
No,
but I mean, they did put them in their place.
That part.
They totally did that.
That part.
They treated it like it was that dollar store jewelry that you buy just when you're going out real fast so you can look luxurious. But as soon as you get home, you throw it in the drawer with all the other ones and forget about it.
Yeah, and then wash that green stuff off your skin because you like,
right.
Dang.
Right. Like my man didn't even know. He didn't even know what a fish was.
I'm saying. But there was a cat. Stones. There was a cat walking around though. Right. Or was it a flirkin?
Might have been a flirkin.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of little juicy little tidbits in this episode. I was here for all of it.
Like I caught when they was inspecting my man in the beginning before he went through that like metal detector thing. They was asking if he was a robot or a sentient being that didn't know that they were a robot. And even he was like, you get robots coming through here? Like, talk about like, what's up with that?
Yeah, man.
And I was hoping maybe we run in to see what happened to White Vision. Maybe he wound up flying out of time.
Ended up in the TVA.
He came through. Yeah, ended up in the TVA. And they was like, hey, you know what this place is?
He was like, I am Vision. And they were like, no you're not.
He said, you know where you are? He was like, I request elaboration.
I request elaboration.
He said.
Hell yeah.
We got the homie, Sir Glass Half Full, Mike Porter.
Oh,
with
yeah.
$1.99. Yes, sir. And he says, Loki is as good as Alan Levis, which is great.
Oh
Hey,
man, humbled, brother. Appreciate you, my guy. Sir Glass Half Full
definitely.
himself.
I know. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, man.
Uh-oh. Got the homegirl Felicity coming through with the $20 holler.
Appreciate
She
it.
said, working, lurking, so I can't interact much tonight. Wanted to remind people about our main gang service stage tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll share my takes then. Won't be at the watch party because grown folks got jobs. Stay blurty, my friends.
Always, always.
Yes,
You
most
know,
definitely. And make sure, if you're not, that you hit up the girl Whitney and she can help you get on the main gang server so you can be able to catch the lady mains tomorrow night at 8. And I believe
that
they also
part,
have another show Saturday at 7. So they're
man.
gonna pretty much try to put us in our place because they say that our takes ain't as good as theirs. And I say, I'm here for all the smoke.
Is that really what? Is that really what this is about? Are we having?
Hey,
Are we doing? Do we need to have a debate?
and not 8, just one.
You know, I'm just saying. I love my lady mains, but challenge me if you dare.
No, but yeah, Infinity Stones. They are just Infinity Stones now. Al.
That's hey, you know. Then I should have a drawer full of them somewhere.
Right. See, people like I know it looks like we're here together, but unfortunately, there's a wall here
Yeah,
because we're both Nexus beings and we can't be
that's
in the
it.
same room,
Can't be in the same
same
place,
time.
same time.
Can't do it.
Can't
So
be the same place, same time.
we'll figure out a way to do it one day. Maybe one day.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Then we talked her up. We got the homegirl Whitney with the $5.
Uh-oh.
And she said, from Mama Callisto, Femme Vengers Unite. Hey, I kinda like that.
Femme
Femme
Vengers.
Vengers.
That's crude. Real
Right?
crude.
Now we gotta really make sure that we separate when we say Femme Vengers and them Vengers.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if you want to be one of them Vengers, but it's always cool to be a
I don't rock
Venger.
with them Vengers. But Femme Vengers are all right with me.
Yes. And just for that, I'm pretty sure Ash Hammer came through with $1.99 because he said, long live the Simpire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Empire be strong. It seems like they be adding members every day.
Hey, the simping is strong in this one.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It must be spilling over to the homie Kendall from Normies to Nerds with the $1.99 because he even said simping for the lady mains.
Man.
Hey, see, look at that. All that love. You a lady main. Let's see some of them emojis in there, man.
Oh yeah. Let's get that.
Pick one. I mean, I ain't gonna,
I can't let's go.
What to do.
Let's
I ain't gonna
go. I'm gonna tell. Look, let me get them Josh Hearts.
Man.
Let me get them Josh Hearts. Them nerdy hearts for all the Femme Vengers.
Middle finger.
Look, that's only if they try to debate us. That's all. That's when I get ugly.
We shall see.
We shall see.
We shall see. We got the homie Nell Boogie coming through with the $49.99. Very generous.
Very generous. Appreciate you, man.
He said, what's up, my brothers? Been lurking for a few weeks, but I have reemerged a diamond badge. Look at him. He make sure he hang in there for that diamond badge. He said, I also turned 31 last weekend. Nice.
Happy belated, brother.
Yeah. See, I went from 32 to 31 to 20 to 30. I almost skipped 30, but I hit 30 and then 29. I'll be 27 this year.
Well, how about that?
How about that? Only person in history that aged backwards. I got the Benjamin Button disease for sure. But he continued to say, crazy how fast time flies. I'm proud to be a member of this community. Just came to say what's up to my favorite show. Hashtag main gang. Well, thank you, sir.
All day.
Always
every day.
Hey. But then he came back again with the $4.99. Mr. Nell Boogie, thank you. He said, also, can someone help me out? I can't type in normal chat. My type bar says members only is on, but I'm pretty sure I'm a member. But I believe that I seen the main pop up in the chat, so somebody must have
worked it out.
The main out. Yes, just
Appreciate
like Nerd Vengers do.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do.
Exactly. That's what we do. That's why we persecute you all in this community.
Look, and I already see. I'm gonna digress for a second. I see what's going on in this chat. I see y'all talking that cash money. You don't want it. I love the lady mains to death, but you don't want these problems. You don't want. I will win every debate, every one of them, because I have the power of blurty persuasion.
Hey, blurty persuasion. That's hard.
It's no joke. It's no joke,
I
man.
can't nobody mess with the blurty persuasion.
No, man. No, they can't.
I don't even think anybody will want to try. No. I'm just saying. I know.
TVA ain't even trying to mess with that. TVA don't even want to
mess with that.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
They don't even want that problem.
That's why I keep the headphones, man, because I ain't trying to hear nothing they talk about.
You got them TVA blockers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It works on haters too. It works perfect on the haters.
Oh yes. And as Mike Mother Flipping Porter so eloquently just put it, we also have the sauce. And if you Lady Bane's film Vengers ain't got the sauce, well, pardon my French, mother, but you lost.
Ooh. Said already you lost.
It's over before it starts. Before it even starts.
Man, I think it has begun.
It has.
It has begun. Yes, it has, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a whole bunch of mother all over you.
You see,
keep messing around.
Hey, well, look, man, I don't really give a if they want to come at me, because you know I'm always here for the mother. And if these mother want to try me, then mother bring the mother on, because I'm here for the smoke all day, every day, and I keep it going if I want to, mother.
And I'm just gonna slap another mother on top of that and call it a day.
We love you.
Mother.
Like and sub. I love Let's Mess with the Lady Mains, man. I love it. It's fun, man.
They're probably triggered right now.
Oh, they know. I love them. They know it's all love. I'm just in one of those moods today where I just want to poke the bear a little bit. Just, I want to stir the pot. That's all. It's been a while. It's been a long week.
Might be careful, man.
For what?
Careful, man.
Who I'm supposed to be afraid of?
Lady Mains.
Look, man, look. It's all about that Southern charm, man. You can diffuse any situation. I am the de-escalator for a reason.
De-escalator, none greater.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. But we got John Johnson coming through with the $5. Mm-hmm. He says, you're part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet. So this episode feels very full circle from the very beginning of the MCU. Right. Most definitely. Now we're finally getting into the cosmic end of things.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to know about. I don't care about no chaos magic. I don't care about what's going down in Brooklyn right now. I want to know what's going on in the brooks, crooks, and crannies of the cosmic universe, man. That's where I'm at.
You know where I'm at right now? I'm at this chat. Because it seems like they gassing up some kind of a confrontation around here. I see what's going on. They trying to get these Lady Mains on my back, man. They trying to get them to come for me. Somebody said Lady Mains are coming for you. I'm like, nerve. I think it was nigga said she can't wait until I slip up. I don't ever.
He just hit you with the old Chinese Japanese movie cuss words. That's
what that was.
That's exactly what we did. Yes, Mike. The mother blanket sauce.
That's right. And if you ain't got the sauce, then mother, that's your loss.
Son. Lady Mains.
You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
Oh, man, you already know that if they're gonna come after you, they might as well just come after me too. There ain't no way I'm gonna be able to sit that one out. Period.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
Even if I try, they're gonna look at you like, you don't want that laughs, you'll get some anyway. So yeah, no.
Yep. See, then it's just like, well, I guess this is the thing now. You're gonna be out there looking like Anchorman. Like I'm be standing there with no arm, like this is beginning to get ridiculous.
See? It was like, see now, Nikki, I'm not taking you out for that seafood dinner. I'm not calling you back. She's like, whatever.
Oh man. So
They
you
be
try,
drinking that purple drink, money.
I was just gonna say you got Nikki sounding like the perfect. Yeah, I swear it's like, wait, was that Nikki that you got to do that voice over there? Now it's
Right.
starting to make some sense. Hold on,
Some
man.
mother sense.
Oh boy.
Oh, goodness. See what OG fan had to say with the
Yeah.
$2.
What he got? What
He
he
said
got?
he's slipping for the Lady Man gang, man. Killing it in these streets, man. Sound like we got some competition, man.
Hey
Got some
man, you know I
competition.
love it. I love the smoke. Bring it. Bring it.
Definitely do. Definitely do. I think I missed one. I skipped one. We got AJ Zyler. He came through with the $5. He said, I think an event in this show will be seen that is the reason the Eternals are coming.
Mm.
Maybe. It probably could explain a little more the reason why the Eternals are necessary, or at least why they're bringing them back. I could say that. I'll see something like that happening, man.
No
But
doubt.
he also came back with the $5 and he said Loki's gonna go back in time and kill baby Thanos. Man, you think Don Cheadle's finally gonna get his wish?
Could be. I mean, he could
Oh,
just kind of.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
could be.
It could be.
Could
We'll have to
be.
wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But we
Mm-hmm.
got Villitra. I think that's what it says. Got me pulling my glasses off of this one. Or is it Vlitra? Okay, Vlitra. Hopefully I say that right. Turning to Josh over here, not saying names right. But welcome back. You are a
You are a
Nerdventure again.
Nerdventure again.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir. Always glad to have you back there, sir. Glad to have you back. And then we got Daniel Fisher coming through with the $10. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
They
you.
couldn't super chat last week. Wanted to show love this week. Can't wait for Bad Batch and Loki every week now. Simp the lady ventures, simp the lady mains responsibly. And take my money.
I saw that.
Damn.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
Looks
and
like.
also,
Yeah, go ahead.
what we got? What we got?
I was
What
gonna
does it
just
look
tell you that we also have a new Nerdvenger, Kyle Carter.
Oh, okay.
I was right there with you.
Yes,
Welcome.
you are.
You are
So,
a
you are
Nerdvenger
a
now.
Nerdvenger now. Yes, sir. Who we got next? Is that Suzu Sozin? Does that say it right? Did I say that right? We got so many colorful names coming through here. No wonder Josh can't say none of them right. They came through with the $4.99. He said, just tuned in, guys. Still thinking about the Infinity Stones and Loki. That ish was crazy.
Yeah.
When I seen that, I was like, wow, like Infinity Stones don't mean nothing. Like no wonder they
That's
just let
one of
the
those
Avengers-
scenes. That's one of those scenes that normies, sweaties, swarmies, everybody understood what that was. That's brilliant writing right there. That's everybody knew. When you open that drawer and you see all them Infinity Stones, you like, bro, wait, what?
Right.
Wait, what? Something done changed. You're damn right it has. Yeah, man.
Damn right. And see, that makes me wonder though. So I guess it's a question we didn't ask earlier, or think to ask earlier. It's like, okay, so we saw all those Infinity Stones depowered. They obviously don't mean nothing. They're not the supreme power. Blah blah blah. Is that something that's always been, or is that something that didn't happen until the Avenger, or at least until Thanos did what he did and destroyed them?
No, I
So
think
now
that's
they just don't matter.
No, I think that's been the case because I think what it is anytime that they've had to go prune a timeline, they've probably had it was something that was going on involving maybe one or more of the stones, and in those instances, they just brought the stones back with them, or maybe whoever they went and apprehended had one of the stones on them or whatnot. Kind of similar to like the Loki situation where Loki pops up with the Tesseract. They're like, all right, take this, put it in evidence or whatever. I think it's the same.
They didn't even know what it was.
Right, exactly.
None of them did. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, the one thing that stood out was when they said that everybody in the TVA was created for the specific purpose of working in the TVA. So that means that they really don't do anything else, is the way I took that. They've just been there.
Right.
Which is wild when you think about it. But yeah, I think that was just the way that they broke that down. That was just to let everybody know it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Oh man. Yeah, I want to know what they replaced them with. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Nexus beings, but I'd like to see how that plays out. And then we got my smiles coming through with the $4.99. So I don't have that good smoke. So I'll just fan the smoke from Nikki, and Felicity. Oh man.
Hey,
Hey,
do what you do.
right.
It's still all love. It's
Maybe
still
it stood
all
up.
love.
Smoke like that. I don't know.
Speaking
My-
of
my-
speaking of
you
smoke,
get that smoke though.
Reefer Man Reviews
Yes, sir.
coming with the $4.20. I see what you did there, my guy. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
No,
He's like, what?
no quote. Just wanted to break us off $4.20.
But we know what that means.
We know exactly what that means.
We know exactly.
That means we only need 80 more cents,
Yeah.
and then we'll have 5 on it.
Yes. Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. Is
You
5
wanna-
enough anymore?
okay.
Can we just ask that question? Just
No,
generally speaking, 5 ain't enough no more. You got to have at least 15.
Right.
If you
I
ain't
remember
got
seeing- and
15, or you better be bringing some
You ain't got
assembly
15,
ingredients. You ain't got no.
That's your loss.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
For sure.
Oh,
Shoot. I don't know. Got Kyle Carter back with the
Mhm.
350 though. He said After Dark better than Loki. Keep killing it.
I don't
Oh,
know
man,
about
what?
that, man. I
Right,
appreciate the compliment, but
Yeah,
we
we're
still.
probably being too modest, but still, we ain't. Once we start getting $150 million for a budget to do an After Dark show,
Exactly.
then maybe we be better than Loki.
Exactly.
So
That
we ain't
part.
expecting that. Yeah, we ain't expecting that. Maybe it'd be nice if we got like 1% of that number. It's still very generous.
Heck
So-
yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Most definitely. I guess now we can get into the chat for a little
Mhm,
bit
mhm,
before we get
mhm.
out of here. So, since we didn't really talk about it, let's see, peoples. What are y'all thinking about this next Bad Batch episode we got?
That part.
What's up with the expectations? My man Al, the resident sweaty. What's your expectations on this next episode?
I think we're gonna get another episode that might give us a little bit of a nugget. I said the last episode was gonna be one where they give us a little bit something where we go, I wonder. I didn't think it was gonna be anything huge, but I mean, where we were at that point in the series where you got to start wondering, okay, where is the goods at? Like where? And so I think this next episode is gonna kind of play on that a little bit, but I think it's not going to. I don't think we'll get a crazy revelation. I think we might, if they do follow up on the Ahsoka thread that they tease at the end, then we may see that. But I think this will be another one of those episodes where they've got a conflict to resolve, and by the time they get to the end of it, it'll be wrapped up, and somewhere along the way in there, they'll sprinkle in a little more juice.
Right. Yeah, I know. I agree with that because I mean they got what 15 episodes total supposed to
Yeah,
be.
I think
Bad
something
Batch?
like that. Something like that.
And we're only up to what episode like 6?
Yeah,
Is it 6 or
I
something
think
like
it's 6 or 7. I'm not. I can't remember
one
for
of
sure.
them.
One of them. One of
them.
them.
But yeah, I mean they still got so much more to go for these shows. That,
Yeah.
we got plenty more to go before they start hitting us with too much juice. They probably gonna sprinkle it on
Yep.
just a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit. I
Just
see
a tad
Whitney
bit.
over there chanting Rex. Rex.
Yeah, she wanted to be Rex in the cameo. I don't think so though. I think that's Ahsoka all day. I think that was Ahsoka at the end of that episode, and I don't know if they'll give us that reveal at the end of this one or at any point in this episode. But yeah, you're starting to kind of see things coming together and understanding. Okay, we might not necessarily know where Omega's at or how she fits into the equation yet, but
I don't know. Like Darth
we getting
Devers
there.
on that
We
side
getting
of
there.
him too. Darth Devers said we better get some plot and either Rex or Crosshairs. I'm be pissed. Like he did that to Josh Boyce. I feel like that was totally Josh Boyce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
don't know. And Bob Pulowski said they don't need another Martez Sisters arc like in the last season.
No, they don't need an arc, but I don't mind seeing them popping up like they did in this episode. I just don't need to see another whole arc based on them. Like, let them show up, kind of help drive the plot forward. That's cool, but we don't need to see a lot of them. Not at least for me.
I'm seeing the other expectation could be Bale.
Yeah, I mean it could be, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Like The only one that really would make sense for them to be reaching out to like that would be Ahsoka, because that's who they. I mean, we're still not talking about a huge gap of time. Like that means that like they had to have been moving and shaking post Clone Wars. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like right up against the end of Clone Wars. So that's yeah, it's possible that they could have run in and known these people, but to reach out to somebody and let them know that they've got, information like that, that just screamed Ahsoka to me. Plus, it was the same, looked like the person had on the robe, looked like the same robe, same type of robe that Ahsoka had on at the end of Clone Wars when she had went back to the site and all of that stuff. So it's like, it just makes more sense, I think, if it turns out to be Ahsoka. Now, of course, with Dave Filoni, you never know. He might find a way to kind of twist it in a different direction. And I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed if it's not Ahsoka, but to me, it's just like it's all pointing to it being her, man. At least for me.
I don't know. Brian Stone doesn't agree. He says it's not Ahsoka as much as we all want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, then my question is, okay, well then who is it?
Right. Who
like
would make the most sense?
Who else would it be aside from Ahsoka when you kind of factor in the timeline where we are, who they actually worked with or encountered, and what significance it would be for them to let her know, because that's the other thing too. It's like, well, why are they reaching out to whoever? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they reaching out to that person? You know what I'm saying?
I'm on your side, man. I mean, I sat beside you on the Mandalorian season finale, and you was the one that said it had to be Luke. It was the only thing that made sense. Said it had to be Luke, and you know what? He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, and I see Sheev said, RC says R7 was seen with Rex, I believe. Well, it was last seen with Rex. I thought Ahsoka when I first saw it, but the closed caption, it said the character was a he. Well,
yeah, that's what people are saying.
Hey, well, maybe I don't know, man. I mean, closed captions don't be right all the time, but
that is true.
I mean, it could be somebody else. It could be Rex. I just feel like they would have to explain to me then why the hell the Martez sisters would have anything to do with Rex. I know he was affiliated or associated with Ahsoka, but like that just to me is there's a gap there that like I would need them to explain. So as long as Filoni explains that, it makes sense. I'm cool with whoever it is. I just feel like I'm still gonna put my money on the table and say it's Ahsoka.
Now I'm lightweight excited to see who it is. Let me be up super early in the morning just to check it out.
There you go.
Not gonna catch it tonight. Gonna stay blurry like the homegirl.
You stay blurry. Say grown folks got jobs. I ain't.
Grown folks got jobs, man. You know the man T Rev. He tried to get on me for not chatting in one of this but I was in the morning stream one day and I was like, I'm out here nerd venging. He was like, it's 11 o'clock. Ain't no nerd venging need to be done that early in the morning. I was like, obviously you don't catch the
wait a minute,
man.
Hold on, man. Right. Let me know what multiverse you in that's you ain't got to start nerd venging before 11.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'd have been all right if he'd have said 9, but 11? Right. That's 11? Half the damn day.
Right, man. We nerd venge
every day. All day.
Exactly. Shoot. I see the homie Lawrence Ski, because his last name sound like one of them gang calls whenever the police is in the neighborhood. Ski.
There you go, right?
My man Lawrence Ski. He said with $5. The 5 episodes left for Owen Wilson to hit us all with that. Wow. I'm gonna be disappointed if he doesn't.
Yeah,
we're waiting.
We'll see, man. We'll see. That's the real bet. I know in the morning stream, Josh had the bet about an Avengers cameo. I want to know the over/under on the number of wows we get. I say if we do get it, we get one.
Right. That's what I was gonna say.
Just
we get one.
That's it.
Just one.
It would only be one.
Loki's gonna say something that's kind of profound, or at least he's about to come back with a smart ass remark, and he's just gonna lead off with, "Wow,
that's it.
I didn't see that."
That's
all it's gonna be, and that's it. All you're gonna get. They might even wait for a post-credit scene for that.
Exactly.
And all you'll get is wow.
That's it. That's it, man.
Yep.
That's all you get. Well, speaking of all you get.
Yep. It's all you get.
It's all you get.
That was perfect.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get
the hell
up
out of
here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
OG. Wow, OG. See, I think OG does this on purpose. He waits.
He does. Yes, he does.
Trying to come through with the $2 saying Keanu's Ghost Rider bust.
Yes, he does.
Oh no, I mean Ahsoka. I don't even know how would you put that together. Ahsoka Keanuka. Yeah, that's how you know it's time to go.
Key is Kisoka.
It's Key. Oh, you? Yeah.
No, that's that. Yep, there it is. Hey, we appreciate y'all. Yeah, but we gonna catch y'all in the next episode. Yeah, man, you got me with that. Like, what did we have to do?
Hey, you said Kiki a little too much. I had to do it.
I know. You know what I need to know though? Why it is that Chet keep up the sounds and the visuals when we trying to get our stuff together. What the good is all of this new tech if you ain't gonna get your together, Chet?
I mean, when we go down there and check on him, I'm pretty sure he probably fell asleep again and spilled purple drink on the controls. And I had to get Elisa to come through with the Q-tip again and hit it. So I don't know why we keep him in the booth.
I know y'all talking about me.
Oh,
I don't give a shit. Lavish, you better shut your mouth before I show you what's really good.
Oh, really?
You heard me, fool.
Really? From in the booth? Like talk about? You gonna try to have me come down there, huh? Don't make me come down there, man.
You think the lady maids is on your ass? Wait till I get over, old dude.
Oh, really? You gonna have to make me go turtles on you. That's what you really trying to make me do.
I just have one question.
Oh, what's
Y'all supposed to be on that purple all the time. Why is your boy Al sitting there looking like the Kool-Aid man and all that red? Oh, this mother got jokes?
I was about to say, I ain't gonna try to speak.
Oh, he got jokes? Hey, see me outside then, Chet, you punk mother. You can bleep all you want to. I don't give a shit. I'll whoop your ass and your homeboys too.
Oh, but he's on some stink meaner type right now.
Hey, bro, you better get your homie. You better get your boy.
I see my homie. That's Josh's homie. We're gonna have to call up the homie and have him come down here and take care of the other homie.
How about I give you and a Al and a Josh?
What? Hey, man. Is this Chetron we talking to right now?
Me and the homie Wallace gonna y'all up.
Hey, you about to catch an infinity whooping. You keep talking.
You might as well just call me Ultron, because there ain't no strings on me.
We're about to be some strings on you. In a particular place you ain't gonna like. Keep talking now, okay?
You're just a hater because...
Where's the plug at?
You're just a hater.
Plug?
You are a hater.
That's why I got these headphones on, man. Block you out, cuz. Matter of fact, how you even get on this channel in the first place?
I am the channel. I am the channel, mother. I run this. You just work here. This tower is mine.
Oh, really? Okay.
You heard me.
We'll see what the city got to say about that when I cut your mother lights off.
Hey.
How about that?
You, city, the Den of Nerds, as a channel, a label, and as a mother crew. And if you down with the Nerd Avengers, then you too.
Yo, where's Wallace?
Mike Hall,
Where is
you too. All you mother, I gotta mute every night on the Discord because you don't follow the rules. All them caps, well, here's something for you. No cap, mother. But the next mother come at me sideways on the Discord, catch slugs. Because we Nerd Venge